When was the last time you saw a Chevrolet in Tokyo?
Okay, I've been all across Japan. I've been to Tokyo, I've been to Kyoto, I've been to Osaka. I biked 80 kilometers across an inland sea, but I haven't seen a single American car in Japan. Okay, now you're probably thinking, what's the big deal? Maybe Japanese people just don't like American brands, it's not that big of a deal. But surprisingly, American brands do really well here. You see things like Wendy's, Starbucks.
Famous Japanese is Starbucks.
It is actually called Starbucks.
Starbucks.
Like these brands, these American brands, they're everywhere. But when it comes specifically to American cars, you don't see any. And so maybe Trump has a point.
Thank you, darling.
Like the question is, why are there no American cars in Japan? Now, Japan has cars. A lot of them. Japan has a car ownership rate that's comparable to a lot of European countries. And that's super weird because, their public transit is so extensive and their bullet trains are awesome. So, if you want to know why Americans can't sell cars in Japan, you first gotta ask, why do Japanese people buy any cars at all? Now, realistically, if you live in Tokyo with its quite frankly mind-boggling transit network, you'd probably be fine. But the reality is, for a lot of businesses and folks living in the more rural areas in Japan, the only way to get around and or deliver your goods is still with a car. So Japan has a lot of cars, but what they don't have a lot of is space. Japanese cities are populous and the rural areas are mountainous, so space is very limited. Compared to the States, streets are narrow and parking space is very scarce, which is why 40% of the cars sold in Japan are these small, compact, fuel-efficient K cars. And when I think of American cars, big muscle cars and even bigger trucks. These giant, powerful, gas-guzzling machines. And it's this reputation that would come to bite them in the ass.
They're laughing at us.
In 1973, a world oil crisis hit Japan hard.
As the biggest oil importer in the world, Japan stands to suffer more than any other nation. With the doubling of the oil price, there will be more inflation, more unemployment, and an abrupt end to the Japanese boom.
A doubling of the oil price really put fuel efficiency top of mind for a lot of Japanese consumers. But fortunately for them, Japanese brands like Toyota and Honda have been making small, compact, fuel-efficient vehicles for a while now. What the oil crisis did was it just further solidified Japanese automakers' hold on the domestic Japanese market, but it also made them quite popular worldwide.
Over the past few years, foreign cars have been taking a bigger and bigger slice of the market.
My palms used to sweat when I had to get on the highway. Now with my Camry V6, I just punch.
My Toyota, who could ask for anything more?
American car manufacturers just chose not to adapt to the needs of the Japanese market. And then finally, 7 years ago,
Ford Motor will shut down its business in Indonesia and Japan this year as it has struggled to gain market shares.
We're dying. We're dying. We need money.
Ford sales have dropped significantly as it failed to compete against other automotive giants.
We have losers. We have losers. The American dream is dead.
But this isn't the end of American cars in Japan. In fact, there is one surprising success story that is trying to redefine the image of American cars in Japan. I'm talking about the Jeep. Now, Jeep's brand image in America is America, the great outdoors, and freedom. Kind of an intense brand image for a quite reserved Japanese society. So Jeep began to rebrand in Japan. They started to focus on their image as a reliable vehicle for the outdoors, which is still in line with their brand image, just minus all the freedom. And it worked! By softening their American image to bring it more in line with Japanese consumer tastes, and marketing toward a younger Japanese audience more comfortable standing out, Jeep became the most popular American car company in Japan, with sales only increasing year by year. Jeep's success in Japan really goes to show you that if you want to sell something, it really is important that you understand your audience.